Hello, welcome to the Lepherdcast. My name is Randy Lee.
And I'm Michael Shepard.
And we both go to Armio.
Right, and we both go to high school as well.
High school as well. That's a throwback to episode 1.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different than usual. Normally, it would just be an episode where we give topics and we talk about it. Whether it be we'd shuffle them around, we'd just talk about them in sequence where it's topic 1, topic 2, topic 3 on both sides. This time, it's going to be something different. This is called Devil's Advocate. Sorry, there's somebody walking by. This episode is going to be focused on us picking an argument or a defense that we're going to say. Like, let's say, for example, I think that red is the best color, right? And then you're going to argue that red isn't the best color. Doesn't matter if your favorite color is red. You're going to have to argue against it. Now, I'm going to give a quick disclaimer here just in case. Anything that we will argue are completely false. If he argues that the Republican Party is better than the Democrat Party, and I argue against it, or he says that the Democrat Party is better than the Republican Party and argue against it, just know that no matter what we say, there is no chance that it is either incorrect or correct. We are saying these simply for the fact of content. Nothing that we say is meant to cause any harm. Nothing that we say is meant to incite any type of aggression or violence on any side of any type of spectrum. Let's get started.
All right.
Can you get your timer up?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
We're going to be arguing for 5 minutes.
All right.
Each.
Let me get set. I should have, I forgot that we use timers around here.
Yeah, you even did it last episode too.
Oh yeah, the last episode, when I threw those packets at you, and then when you totally missed the garbage can.
4 times.
All right. Oh jeez, I hope my phone doesn't fall. Okay, so who's gonna go first of all?
Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. We're gonna start the timer.
What's your first defense?
My defense, my topic is that money can buy happiness. People say that money can't buy you happiness because, if you're lonely but you're rich, you just can't use that money to get out of that misery, assuming you're in that misery in the first place. And I personally think that money can buy you happiness. I don't know why, because you usually want things, right? Things that make you happy, whether that be a video game, a car, or a cool podcast setup. It can make you happy, and people may argue that, well, you're lonely and whatnot. Yeah, I'm gonna be crying in my new BMW or something. I don't know, some car.
You could say that until you're crying in your 17th Bugatti, and then you're like, this is getting dull, right? You can be, every single person, they aspire and they strive to have more and more, right? And it's the most heartbreaking thing when you realize you're at the peak of everything. So let's say you've wanted to for the longest time save up to buy a car.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you win the lottery for $1 billion. Holy shit. You're so fucking happy you have $1 billion, right? Wow, right? You get the car, you get the house, right? You're so overjoyed. And then it's like, this is so great. And then after a year or so, you still got a ton of money, like $800 million, right? You're like, man, this is getting boring. And then you just get bored and you don't know what to do. Money can't buy you happiness most of the way, because when it does buy you happiness for the short term, it'll never be permanent for the long term. That's why I don't want to try to tie into this. A lot of people that are super rich, they get bored. When they get bored, they try to find pleasure in multiple different ways, like creating an island. There's a reason why I did that, like Diddy with his after parties and things like that. They did these things simply because they were losing dopamine. They needed something to feel alive again, because they've already spent all their life and all their time trying to pursue happiness. And when they finally reached the summit with all these cars and all these houses and all these phones and all these girls, there was nothing as invigorating as doing something that you normally wouldn't be able to do.
That is true. However, that's the thing. Everyone has their own personal preferences or what makes them happy. That's why Diddy, he was just a freak, okay? He was a freaky rich dude, alright?
He wasn't until he got rich.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. If I ever got rich, I would not be freaky, because I'm not freaky. I'm telling you.
You can say that until your 3 billionth fucking your 3 billionth dollar. You're like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Now I should start talking to 15.
But honestly, if I had all the money in the world, assuming it doesn't affect the economy in any way, honestly, what I would do with it is to just pursue my dream and make a video game, because I really want to make a video game. You actually mentioned it in Thanksgiving special, which I'm surprised you knew about.
Mike's Pixel World. Check it out on Steam.
It ain't on anything. But it's like one of my dreams to create a video game that I really like. And I don't have a team for it. It's just me. But it would definitely make me happy. But people always say that they always tie in loneliness with it, right? And boredom. Here's the thing though. What about we just get a wife or a girlfriend or whomever you like before you're rich or when you're rich? Just hide the money, See, it's like, that's the thing though. She might just like marry you for your money though. That's the thing. Yeah. There's the thing.
So I wanted to kind of trail off real quick because we got a minute left. I've been reading this book called Candide. It's an amazing book, right?
Who's it by?
It's by some random guy like Voltaire. I think it's Voltaire or something like that. And it's about this guy that goes through so many misfortunes in his life. He goes all around. He gets like he hears tales of these ladies, of all these people going through horrible things, where he kills these two ladies' lovers, which are monkeys for some reason, right? And he gets hunted by cannibals, mistaking him for a Jesuit. And then they go through a whole trail on that. He gets caught. His best friend James, the Anabaptist, an absolute saint, dies, right? It's a shame how he died. He got drowned by somebody he tried to save, and all that happens. And then at the end, he goes to El Dorado, that ancient city of gold, right? And he gets these billions of dollars, and he gets back. He finds his old mentor Pangloss, who he thought had died. I'm sorry for spoilers. He finds his love. It's pretty ugly now, I'm not gonna lie. And his best friend Cacambo. They're all here. They bought this quaint little farm, but they spent all day thinking. And when they spent all day thinking, they got bored. And they were like, oh my God, right? So they talk. Can we extend this by just a minute?
Yeah. That's fine. It's a different type of episode.
They get bored and they talk to a dervish. A dervish. This guy's like, he's like an ancient Muslim like teacher. There's three different routes, right? And they're like, hey, we were wondering what's the meaning to life? And he was like, why are you worried about the meaning to life, right? Why don't you just shut up and just mind your own business? And he was like, and then they were like, come on, we need an answer. Why do we spend all of our lives doing things? And why do we do all this? And he's like, why are you worried about the stars when you're stuck on the ground? He says something like that, right? And then he closes the door on them. He shuts it on their face.
Yeah.
And they go to a farmer and they said there's three sins. The farmer said that there's three sins. I know. Poverty, vice, and boredom. So they find out the only way to avoid one of the greatest sins of all time, which is boredom, they have to work. So they create and establish a farm, and that's the end of the book. They stop thinking and they cultivate their gardens. That's the end.
Really?
Yeah.
That's honestly pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. All right.
That's the end of that. That's for my first topic. Cold drinks in the heat are better than hot drinks in the cold.
All right. You start with that, obviously.
I personally have gone through the blazing heat in the freezing cold. And I'd like to tell you what, whenever you're in the blazing heat and you get a cold bottle of water, it's one of the greatest feelings ever. It cools down your entire body really fast. It just makes you feel amazing.
Well, to some degree, I can see the truth in that, but here's the thing. In my opinion, the hot drink in the cold weather outweighs that. So I'm going to give you a little background. There's one time I was playing ice hockey, and after I was like really, really, really hot, despite how ironic that is. And I chugged an entire water bottle and chugged a half of a Gatorade, and it felt nice. But there was just one time I was starting my dad's car, and it was like, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was like during winter, and like it was really cold outside. I wake up early for school every morning, and I asked my mother before if she could make me some hot chocolate because my throat wasn't feeling well, and I don't know why, but it just felt 1,000 times better to have something warm. To drink something warm inside your digestive system, in my opinion, because when something I've always preferred being comfortably warm than always super cool, because I love the cold, don't get me wrong, but just the warm, I don't know why, it just makes my body feel amazing. After I get out of a warm shower, it feels amazing. So the main reason, going back to what I was saying, a warm drink is better is because overall it just is soothing. I know cold can be soothing for some people, but warm tends to be the most like culturally accepted as like soothing, right? Like, you know, spas,
Well, like,
warm.
at the end of the day, it goes down to this. Whether you're in the hot, right? If you're in the blazing hot and you get absolutely covered in cooling water, you'll get cold and you'll stay cold, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's great, right? You'll still be warm enough because the water in your body will eventually go away. But if you're in the cold and you get covered in hot water, you're gonna freeze to death.
That's true.
Because the water cools down. And on top of that, let's say you're out on like a run or you're out on a hike, right? It's out there, you're going out there, you're blazing, you're burning up, right? And you see a cold bottle of water in a fisherman's cooler, he passes you the bottle, you drink it, you feel absolutely refreshed, ripe as rain, you're ready to keep going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you're hiking on Everest, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a little cabin, and someone passes you a cup of hot cocoa, you drink it, you still feel freezing cold. You keep walking up the hill, you're still gonna be cold, right?
Well, yeah. Well, because I don't think you've ever heard of like someone drinking like warm, like hot water. It's like, come on now,
No
who
one
drinks?
drinks hot water.
Huh?
No one drinks hot
Yeah,
water.
no one drinks
Yeah.
hot water, so it's easier to say that it's better to drink something cold water in this scenario because what is it?
Well, you want me to change it to cold Powerade? How about that? Would that be better?
No, I'm kidding.
How about hot soup?
Hot
A
soup.
cup of hot soup. And it'd still like not make you feel as well. You know
But
what
like,
I mean?
it's just, I just overall just like personally more enjoy.
We're gonna
warm
get this on
drink.
9:30.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, just let us talk about it. Okay, kind of embarrassing, but it's just well, mainly it just at the end of the day, it just comes down to a preference at this point. Because like you
It
can't-
is subjective.
You cannot really debate an opinion per
Yeah.
se. Like if I say
But it is biological.
that
Your body's better
that-
at handling cold.
that's
than-
true.
or heat
That
than
is
cold.
true. You can't just say like I prefer Apple over Android. It's an opinion. You can't because you can't judge an opinion.
Well, yeah, but you could throw in statistics to back up your opinion, and if it makes you more correct than others, then at the end of the day, you may be more right in at least the instance that's given.
Yeah.
But I guess it just depends on who's actually arguing.
Yeah. I think it's like the first one we've cut off early.
Yeah, because we dragged off a minute earlier.
Yeah. Making up for it.
On to your second topic.
On to my second topic.
Dylan. No.
Okay. Electric cars are worse than gas cars. Okay. One of the main arguments I have that makes electric cars worse is how long it takes to charge a Tesla compared to filling up, let's say, a truck, right? So I don't know exactly how long it takes, but apparently it takes around like half an hour or so to I think charge your Tesla.
2 hours if you want to go full.
Yeah. And that just begs the question: would you rather spend money to save time, or save time or spend time to save money? Because time is like one of the things in the world you can never get back, no matter how hard you try. But money, you can just earn it back. So it's really a huge like debatable topic, because let's say you're on the road or something, and you got to get somewhere fast, and your vehicle just so happens to run out of gas because the other day you realized, oh, these gas prices are so high, I don't want to buy some right now. And it creates like a time crunch for you, which is probably one of the most stressful things in the world. So you got to refill your vehicle somehow.
Let's think about this. I'm going to go both short term and long term.
Mhm.
In short term, if you're driving your electric vehicle, right? You're driving your truck,
Mhm.
right? First and foremost, you charging your truck. Are you refilling a truck like with diesel?
Mhm.
If you fill it up all the way, it's like $100.
Yeah.
At least in California or so. It could even be more than that, right? I don't really know because I never really owned a truck before. Right?
Mhm.
But I know that it's like $100, middle of the road. Sometimes
Yeah.
it could be 50, sometimes it could be 150. It's a lot of money. At the
Yeah,
end of the
because
day.
diesel's way more expensive.
Yeah,
Yes.
like, let's say you have to refill your tank once a week.
Mhm.
That's $100 a week.
Yeah.
Then you multiply that by 4 or 5 a month. That's $500 a month, right?
That's true.
That's when we get into long term. Over like what an entire year, that's $6,000 you spent. That's about a tenth of your average salary going straight into gas.
Mm.
Let's say for the long term, right? Also for long term, trucks are much more prone to having faults. They're a much older style of car. They have more moving parts than Teslas or electric vehicles in the first place. They break down much more often, right?
Yeah.
Electric vehicles, they have much less moving parts. So even if something does break, it'll be much easier to fix it because you're not going to have to worry about that many mechanical parts, right?
Yeah.
There's not much machinery involved in an electric vehicle other than, most of the components, right?
Yeah.
Second, zero emissions. It's better for the globe. Despite all the ones that are modern not being that good at being efficient in preserving energy, there's still zero emission. That's a lifesaver in the future, right? If everyone changed to it, of course, we wouldn't have enough power to sustain it. But the people who are making that sacrifice are doing a great job on it. People who go solar panels on the roof of your car, maybe it'll take like 12 hours for it to charge, right? But let's say you work the night shift, right? You could just charge it over the entire day while you're sleeping.
That's true.
And then it fully charges. That's completely free, and you're being able to sleep while it's happening. Charging at home, still pretty cheap. It's like $200 like a year to get all that power supplied to your car and back.
Yeah. However, though, not just only factor. We're considering more factors than just actually making the car move.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of Teslas having to like they won't even function because some technical error happened inside the car, because Teslas mainly have that little
EVs or Teslas?
Well, mainly
Teslas, right?
Yeah, mainly
which
Teslas.
are a category of EVs.
Yes, and
if I could say that that a Mitsubishi truck from the 1920s was faulty, I can't make the claim for every electric vehicle. Every gas type.
Tesla is
Tesla's not doing too well.
Really?
In fairness, it's a brand new field. In the beginning of trucks being developed, there was a lot of faults. They were complete gas guzzlers. They produced an insane amount of gas and a huge amount of emissions. Costed way too much money to keep up. That's why farmers only bought it, because they could handle a lot of horsepower, but they couldn't move fast. They weren't a method of transportation as much as they were a method of hauling or as moving heavy machinery.
Yeah.
Back then it was the same thing. We're just entering a new field very early on.
Yeah, one thing I will say about it is that we've had a lot of years to perfect gas-powered vehicles, but we've had so little years to perfect electric vehicles overall.
We're just getting in.
Yeah, but also in general, electric vehicles are way more expensive than gas-powered vehicles.
Everything. Now there's incentives that make it cheaper.
Yeah, well, seeing how everything is shifting.
I think that's due to lithium, but
yeah. We have 5 seconds left, so I hope Elon Musk doesn't kill us after seeing this. Okay.
That's game.
Yeah, alright.
50044. It's going to be a living hell for Roy to track. Okay, on to my next one. I'm gonna go with this one.
What's this?
The Allies still would have won World War II even if Germany didn't attack Russia.
Okay, let's give some background.
Now let's say World War II, Germany and Russia, very beginning of the war, they were a war machine, right? They were able to take out a lot of people. I believe they took over France, was it? Warsaw?
Something like that.
I think it was Warsaw, right? They took it over with a ton of Soviet and Nazi soldiers. They were stampeding through the east very fast.
Yeah.
Right? It was insane. It was very, very, very fast war. It was an absolute stampede. But then in the winter of 1940, I believe, 1940, 1941, they turned on the Russians. Or in the fall they did.
Yeah.
They turned on the Russians and they tried to push into Stalingrad. They took over Leningrad, they took it out. Then they pushed into Stalingrad and they lost the war there. They turned it around. Germany got decimated, and they put too much resources into Stalingrad. Now, the problem was a lot of people say that this was the turning point of the war, and it was. But even without that help, I still believe that Britain, America, Canada, Mexico, and even more of the countries involved in it still would have won.
Without the winter?
Without without Germany turning on Russia and them working together.
Well, yeah, so Germany turning on Russia. That's such a tough one though, because I'm not way too educated in this, to be honest with you. Jeez, this is so tough because I'm not a history nerd, so I don't really know what to say. But what is it? I guess what's one way they couldn't have won without Russia? Can we just pause real quick on this? We're gonna cut this part out. Hold up, I need to stop this for a second, and I just gotta text my friend Levi. This is actually kind of important. Hold on.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go and pee. We're temporarily gonna go on a pause. So we've come to a standstill.
Yeah.
Because I unfortunately forgot to tell Michael about this. He has no information on the subject because he didn't do any research on it. In fairness, he didn't know what to research for it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna respectfully skip this.
Yeah.
Going straight back to zero. We're going on to this next topic, and we're only gonna make it last for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This next topic is students in honors classes are more intelligent than students students in honors classes are generally more intelligent than students in regular classes.
Okay. Let's give us some background information. Restate the question and tell us whatever you want to say.
So, in my honest opinion, I think that students who are willing to get into honors classes or advanced programs, which whether it be accelerated progression AP or international baccalaureate IB or whatever, accelerated ACC, advanced progression or IB, right? AP, stuff like that. All those classes, students who are willing to get into that are generally more intelligent than students in regular classes.
Okay. I would say for the most part, some students are, but but there are some students in there, most in IB, that are just idiots that copy off each other. To quote a fellow student I met in honors, I'm not going to say his name, but by the quote, I bet you can guess who it is. Kids who join honors are just retards who copy off each other. Or kids in honors are just retards who copy off each other. And I gotta say, mainly the only reason why I joined honors, alright? This is gonna be crazy. It's because I just want to be with, I didn't want to be with the brain dead class, okay?
So you are admitting that people that are not in regular classes
mainly
are
because
more dumber than clever.
Another reason, that wasn't the main factor, it's because I wanted to be with some of my friends. That's legit the only reason.
One of two. First reason was that they were too stupid. Second reason was that you wanted to be with your friends.
Yeah, that's legit. Okay. I just wanted to be with my friend Renzo and Sean, but I only had one class with Sean. So, what is it? I think that part of that statement can be true, but you also have to consider that some people who just want a GPA boost or their grades are better by not doing anything. Something like that. I don't know. But, what is it? I think that it's probably most likely a false statement because they just want people to think that they're smart enough to be in honors or IB so that people will think of them as more intelligent or something like that.
Yeah, well, you could say that, but on the other side of the spectrum, if people do enter the honors program to seem smarter and they actually pass the classes, it does go to show that they are smarter. If they're able to handle a larger workload and they're willing to learn more than the average student, that means that they're more than willing to not only seem smarter, but to be smarter.
That's true. Yeah.
It's a very demanding thing for you to enter a program that makes you deal with more intricate problems, as well as when people copy off each other. That does suck, right? People copy off each other, but it's not really a matter most of the time of whether people can understand it or not. They only copy off the main papers because they don't want to spend the time doing the work.
That's true. Yeah.
A lot of people, if you're still in a program, right, the tests are primarily 50 to 60% of your grade. You can't really cheat on tests in any type of special program unless it's special needs. I keep bringing this up. So it's really difficult. Right?
That is true.
It's very difficult to cheat in honors classes. And that means that in order for you to understand or even pass one of the classes, you'd have to understand what's on the test.
That's true.
You can get it from cheating, you can get it from copying, but if you still understand it, even with your copying off of other people and writing it down, you're still getting it. That means that you're smarter than the average person for not even doing the work, yet still understanding the topic.
That is true. However, though, I was in English honors once, and I forgot what we were reading. I think it was Farewell to Manzanar, or what's that other book about?
Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, Catcher in the Rye. There's this one kid, and I think we all know who it was. He had a horrible... Dinesh Carboni. He had a horrible time. No offense. He just had a horrible time pronouncing some of the words, and he, obviously, I met him in honors. What is it? When I saw him in there and learned how he talked and whatnot and his work effort, was just like wondering, and he's in honors, right?
Yeah.
And just like I was like, what is going on here? Because like he, I think he portrayed himself as like, well, not necessarily portrayed himself, but like, I guess he tried to make himself feel smart by being in those classes because he was like probably the dumbest person I've ever met. Because like, just the way, just his work ethic. But then you compare him to somebody like
compare him to somebody in normal classes, and the fact that he's still able to, the fact that he's smart enough to be able to pass and cheat at the same time was honestly an amazing feat. They didn't have straight Fs.
Yeah, no doubt.
If the sole fact that he wasn't A, caught, or B, like, you know, stupid, right? If he wasn't stupid, he would have passed. If he wasn't, you know, bad at cheating, he would have passed. Those two go hand in hand. If you know how to use AI and you get away with using AI, you're still pretty smart. You got to be smart enough to understand how it works in order to use it, especially in classes that make sure you don't use AI. Right?
Yeah.
There's different methods of intelligence, and there's a lot of people who pretend to be smart. There's a lot of people who pretend to be dumb. Both those go hand in hand. Sometimes stupid people act stupid. Sometimes smart people act smart. Dumb people act smart most of the time. That doesn't change a thing.
Yeah. I mean, there is this one guy in honors. His entire Math 2 career, which is the second level of math in our school. I don't even know what we cover in there. Algebra, trigonometry, and some parts of geometry, I think.
Yeah, beginning of the quadratic term.
Yeah. Jeez, my phone. Anyways, what's important is that he was in honors, right?
Yeah.
And he did nothing in Math 2. He had a 0%. Like, I've never met a person who's had a 0% in their class, and his excuse was, I just didn't want to do the work. So, like, the main question is, then why are you in honors class? You know? If you...
Was he in standard honors classes?
History honors, chemistry honors, and English honors.
Are they still in IB right now? Or in honors classes?
No, he's not in IB anymore.
Well, that doesn't go to show anything.
Yeah, so
he's not in honors.
So the question is, why did he join honors in the first place if he wasn't that intelligent?
He joined honors to feel smart.
Yeah.
But he didn't cut it. If he didn't cut it, then that doesn't mean that he's dumber than the average person, because now he is the average person.
Well,
if he wasn't smart enough for the honors program, then that just goes to show that not everybody can make it into an honors program or an advanced program such as IB or AP.
Yeah.
If anybody could make it in, and that person with the 0% was still in IB, you'd be 100% right, because he isn't in it in the first place, and he didn't feel like doing any other work. He didn't do anything on the tests, right?
Yeah.
That's 100% testament to that not every single person can make it into honors, and not every single person can cut it.
Yeah. It's just that, what is it? What is your definition of intelligence used in the context of this sentence?
My definition of intelligence is not only IQ, but formal and knowledge on subjects.
What if someone failed a class, like even before being in honors, would you still count that as...
Were they still in honors?
Well, what if they were in honors, like let's say if they were a freshman
If they
in
still
class?
are in honors, and they failed a class prior, and they're still working on ingenuity, so long as they're not failing the current classes, and they're not going to get kicked out, that still makes them more intelligent. If they still possess the knowledge to stay in an honors class, they're still smarter than the average person. Smarter than the average student, not the average person. I'm not saying that there's always going to be dumber people in regular classes, but I'm saying that on like 90% of all the occasions, people going into honors classes have higher standards for work ethic, they have higher demands, or the teachers have higher demands, and they have much stricter schedules. They got to go to bed earlier, they got to wake up earlier for 0 periods, they got to have less sleep and more work and better grades.
What about somebody that is currently doing bad in non-honors/IB classes?
What's that to say?
You're talking about like people who do extra work, put in amount of work effort. What about people who have IB classes, but not all of them are IB? Because like you can't, there's no IB PE or like IB student leadership and so on and so forth.
There is none of that, yeah. But that's still like, that doesn't really matter.
But that's...
If they're not doing good in regular classes and they are doing good in IB classes, that means that they're focusing most of their work onto the harder classes because there's more workload in them.
Really?
If they were failing IB classes but they were doing good in regular classes, that goes to show something else entirely. You gotta understand, it's like, for someone to fail a regular class and still be in the IB classes, that means that most of their attention is getting put into the classes that need more work on time and more demand and higher, like much more, elasticity.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to memorize stuff more in those classes as opposed to regular classes. If the workload is too slow, somebody can struggle with that as well.
Yeah, well, going back to the main question, which was, you gotta say it again, that's like part of the
So
script.
students in honors classes are generally more intelligent than students in regular classes.
I only said that so you would remember it. We're reaching the next end of it. I've seen more people cheat in honors class tests compared to, normal classes.
Yeah, because they're harder.
So, do you think people cheating on tests is a sign of high intelligence or low intelligence?
Does getting away with cheating make you smarter or dumber?
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know actually.
Exactly. If you don't get away with cheating, that means you're dumber.
Like I guess like a certain somebody.
If you're stupid enough to not know how to take a test, but you're smart enough to know that you need ChatGPT, that's good, right? That still means that you're still good to go, right? If you're not like, if you're willing to brute force a test and not use ChatGPT, that still makes you smart because you made your bed, you're gonna lie in it.
Yeah.
But if you're smart enough to realize you got to get away with this with this test and cheating with it, and you get away with it, that's another level of intelligence, or not really another level above people who just ace tests naturally. It still makes you semi-smart. Like this is people who studied for it and got good grades, didn't study for it and didn't study for it but still like made their bed in it. People who use ChatGPT to cheat, right? Yeah. They're still smarter for understanding that they had to use AI and get away with it. They had enough situational awareness, perception, and peripheral vision to understand the risk that they needed to take to pass.
Yeah.
That's not, it's another field.
Yeah. Well, we went on for a little while.
11/18/61. If that's not exact, we're firing you.
Yeah. My next topic is political violence is the United States' worst tragedy. Political violence is inciting violence over political beliefs, opinions,
Political discrimination.
Yeah, discrimination. For examples, like Charlie Kirk, the most recent one, pretty is really hot topic right now.
Yeah.
And I think there was 2 attempts at assassination Donald Trump.
3.
3?
3.
What was the third one?
The second one was somebody. The first one was the ear.
Yeah.
The second one was a golf course, and the
Yeah.
third one was like a threat or something. I think it was something like that.
Threat. I've heard that word before.
Okay.
And there's also the assassination of JFK, obviously. But
I think there was too, yeah.
Yeah.
Political violence, while still being a very, very hot topic and being a major problem in general, it hails in comparison to, I guess you could say something like nationalism. There could be nationalism and there could be terrorism. Terrorism and nationalism, they go on opposite sides of the same coin, which is, I guess countries, right? Or nationalization, discrimination on, I know it. I forget it. Xenophobia. So there's a lot of things. There's terrorism, which is caused by other people, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of our country or inside of our country, which are openly killing other people for their own political agenda. That's absolutely horrible. And then there's nationalism, believing that your country is better than every other country for no substantial reason. That's horrible because it can lead to disgusting events that have been repeated in the past, like Mongolia, what happened with that other guy, Mao Zedong in China, Emperor Miyamoto, right? I think it's Emperor Miyamoto, as well as Nazi Germany, Hitler, Stalin in Russia. Those are 5 things I can name off the top of my head happening in, I guess, almost the same continents.
Yeah.
And what's his name in Chile?
I got no.
Puerto Rico. Those 2. Cuba and Puerto Rico.
So you think that...
I think nationalism is a much bigger problem. Nationalism and terrorism are much bigger problems than political violence. While it is a major thing that we are hating on each other and dividing us, xenophobia makes it so much worse. Like, let's say Christians or Muslims hating on each other instead of trying to be united, despite both being American. That's just straight. That's not supposed to happen. Despite both of them being a Democrat or a Republican, they will still hate on each other, whether or not they're a different race or a different religion or follow different beliefs or come from different households. If they still hate on each other, no matter the party, that still means that it's a more prevalent issue than just someone's political ideologies.
That's honestly a really good statement, and I gotta say that does actually seem better than what I was saying, but...
Xenophobia was also a major thing in Charlie Kirk's death.
That's true.
A lot of people didn't like what he had to say, and he didn't like other cultures, certain other cultures. I'm not saying he didn't like every other culture, except for white people, right?
No doubt. But I mean, Charlie Kirk. What is it? Just what is it? His like death and whatnot. It just made, for me specifically, it made me more aware that like political violence is like way more toxic than pretty much everything I've pretty much seen. Because imagine this: you're living in a household, right? And let's say you have three brothers. So 3 brothers, and you're in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. They prefer to favor one parent, like let's say their mother. And the other side prefers to favor their dad, Republican, Democrat, right? Now, what if living in the same household, right? What if they were actively like beating on each other simply for loving someone else?
That's also the same exact thing for xenophobia.
Right.
The mother in this instance being Allah, or the Islam version of God, and the other being the Christian God, which is God the Father.
Right. But like, imagine like if it was like, jeez. We should never do this again. I cannot think of my feet like this.
I know, it's very difficult, but it's good training. So
yeah.
Next time we have a conversation with someone, it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah. What is it? It's because with politics and whatnot, I think that it's probably much larger than, in my opinion, than, let's say, most likely like xenophobia. Because mainly because I don't care what happens in other countries. It just matters what happens, because you don't care what happens in your neighbor's house, right?
Yeah.
You mainly care what's happening in your own house. And political violence happens a lot in the United States. That's what happens when you give people rights. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really bad out of context.
Horrible. We're gonna clip that. That's gonna be our quote.
Yeah. But just overall, in my opinion, I just think it's one of the worst tragedies to ever plague the United States. Oh, and school shootings. That's bad.
School shootings. Well, that's another topic.
Yeah, that's another topic for another day. But yeah, looks like we extended it by 5 seconds and 90.
5:05:94.
Yeah.
We're gonna fire you, Roy.
You know what's funny is that we're pretty much done with this, and like I gotta say, this is like probably like the one like I'm the least proud of.
I'm pretty proud of this. We both argued well on most of the things, like the electric vehicles, like the hot water, cold water thing. It seems like it's a great subject, but I don't really know if we argued it well.
Yeah.
If we have a guest on, it might be good. Quick little thing, if you are going to be on our show, you will have complete free reign over whatever thing you want. You can do the raffle, we can do devil's advocate, or we can do the basic, just we rotate around topics.
Yeah. But obviously, like, nothing like, let's argue, then let's fist fight each other, and then whoever survives is the...
If it is political, you have to argue against your own belief. How about that?
That seems good, actually, because you gotta have a balance.
You gotta have a balance of it, yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that I think that in terms of like Lepherdcast, you were like more intelligent in this type of thing.
No, more studied in arguing.
Yes, because like, dude,
I'm very used to it. I've had a lot of theological debates.
When I look back at the footage, I never realized how dumb I am. Because like, dude, it's so embarrassing. But like, I mean, you gotta start somewhere.
You're a good orator.
You gotta start somewhere.
You got good oration.
Yeah.
If that's the word for it. Oration is like the ability to think on your toes.
Yeah, I get real nervous sometimes, but...
Yeah, no, you're good.
What time is it? Oh, yeah, it's 1:58.
Good.
Or 1:54, I mean.
Good God, that's like 50 minutes of footage. It's going to be fun for you, Roy.
Yeah.
And we didn't say the F-bomb once, which means you're not getting paid extra. Okay? This one's